Hello. In today's video, we will talk about the Ace of Cups. So in this video, we are moving out of the Swords, which is the karma energy. It's working with the air, action, broad sight, into clear sight. And so if you've been following my videos, you will know that I went out of order here. And I went out of order because when the cards were coming to me and when they were being created, the Swords was actually the first suit of the minor arcana that was calling to be developed. And so I ended up going with the Swords, and then I went with the Cups, which, if you have the deck, you'll know that the Cups is actually the first suit of the minor arcana, and they're set up cups, and then coins, and then wands, and then swords. And so we're kind of jumbling things up. In these videos, the coins will actually be the last suit, because that was the order in which in which the cards came to me and in which they were created. So the Cups, this suit, we're dealing with the energy of the water. The color is blue. The Buddha family that's associated with this energy is called Vajra, and the main kind of property of this energy in its wisdom state is clear sight. And so with the Ace, it's going to represent kind of like that pure, raw wisdom energy. And so with this, the Ace of Cups, we are dealing with like, it's going to be non-judgmental. It's going to be like pure, clear kind of awareness. It's going to be unadulterated sight. So it's going to be just like a pure reflection of what is, kind of going on. It isn't going to be caught up in its own ego or its own emotion. And so when this card appears in a reading, it's going to be talking about like this kind of clarity that comes with the water and comes with this particular energy. In a regular deck of cards, we're going to be talking about hearts, and so this would be the Ace of Hearts. And oftentimes this particular suit is related to emotion, and in its wisdom state, this card is going to be talking about working with things with this clarity and with this, with this like kind of like unclouded vision. It doesn't have a bunch of stuff attached to it. It's going to just be purely like, this is how things are, like a mirror reflecting back what's going on. And so with that, in its reversed position, we are talking about maybe some like repressed emotion. We might be talking about like this internal state, like coming to understanding of like something internal. So like this internal clarity, or it could be a little bit more on the neurotic side, where one is cut off from their emotion rather than, so with emotion, it can affect us, but we don't necessarily have to get carried away with it. And so when this particular energy or this card is in its wisdom state, it's talking about like, you have the emotion, you're fully, aware and present, but it doesn't affect your vision. It doesn't affect what you see. However, when it's in its reverse position, it can sometimes mean that rather than kind of being okay with and sitting with the emotion, you're repressing it. And so of course, whenever we repress something, it comes out in these different ways, and so it might distort your view a little bit, might distort your vision. Um, and or in its reversed position, it could be talking about like this clarity of an internal, situation, or like something that you were working with internally and you have now got some clarity on that situation. Uh, the aces, I think I shared before when I talked about the Ace of Swords. So the aces were all created, and then I went into each of the suits. So it was like the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands, and then the Ace of Swords were created. And then I moved on to the suit of swords from 2 to 10. And then the cups from 2 to 10, and then, the wands, and then the pentacles. So, with these cards, I'm going a little bit out of order from how they were created, in that the aces were kind of separate when the deck was coming into being. But I wanted to keep them in these videos. I wanted to kind of keep each of the suits kind of complete within themselves and not scatter it too much. This particular suit was a suit that when I was trying to understand the cards, when I was studying the cards and I was trying to understand them and I was doing the drawings on paper, I did the major arcana, and then I did the cups from ace to king. And so on paper, this suit looked a certain way, but when it came into electronic form, it completely changed. And so there isn't a whole lot connected between the drawings on paper and what actually kind of manifested when it became electronic and into like cards. And so I share that just to say, even though this suit had already been like, I was like kind of processing it in like, picture form, like creating like these pictures to give myself this reinforcement of meaning, that got lost it very differently from how the major arcana. Well, of course, there were some cards where the major arcana, like it didn't translate over, but not any of these cards. I'm trying to think, are there any? Yes, actually there are. The 5 of Cups is the only one that's the same in I'm trying to think, am I lying? Let me make sure I'm not lying. Yes, the 5 of Cups is the only one that kind of just came over from, like the drawing into electronic form. And the rest of them, I don't think any of the rest of them carry much of, what they were on paper. So, I think that's it for now. I feel like I'm rambling at this point. I look forward to talking to you soon about the 2 of Cups. Thank you so much for joining me.